and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Welcome to Nosebleed Radio, presented by Paisan's Pizzeria in Omaha. Here's your host, Tucker Franklin.
What is up? Episode 30 of Nosebleed Radio. I'm here with the boys, KB, Kieran, Brennan.
How's it going?
Toby Tad.
What's up?
And Shane Miller.
Hey, how's it going, Roll Hawks?
Episode 30, we'll do famous number 30s. KB, you want to start?
Yep, I'm going to go with my favorite 30, and that is Mr. Stephen Curry. I know what you're thinking. Kieran's a bandwagoner, and I like to say, yeah, I am. So what? Deal with it.
Tobes?
Todd Gurley, he's simply the best there is. Los Angeles Rams, best running back in the league by far. And he's carrying my fantasy team thus far. And, yeah, pretty cool all around.
Shane, you have 30?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Terrell Davis, another running back.
TD?
Hall of Fame. What?
His nickname, TD?
I thought you said KB. I was like, I thought I was talking. Yeah, TD. Hall of Fame running back, even though he did play for the Dum Broncos. Still really, really good.
He's still good. I mean, sometimes you just have to recognize good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
He also went to Georgia, which is a school that I like.
As did Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
Todd Gurley also did good. I'm going to go with a 30 that not a lot of people think of. Rod Smart, Las Vegas Outlaws.
He hate me.
He popularized a phrase. I know. He tells a story about how when he was playing, he heard all the fans in Las Vegas chant, "He hate me," and then his quote is, "So I knew I had to ball."
Yeah.
And he went out and balled out after that. He went to Western Kentucky and wasn't able to make it in the league, but really made a splash in the XFL.
Welcome back soon.
Yeah, XFL will be dope. Rod Smart's
I'm
41 and
excited.
he won't be playing in the XFL, but
Hey, never say never. Herschel Walker tried to make a comeback, and he's like, what, 100?
I don't know.
Andrew Luckstad's the commissioner of the XFL.
Who is?
Andrew Luckstad.
Oh, that's Andrew Luck's dad?
Yeah.
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 Whoa, I didn't put two and two together.
I didn't know
there.
that until like a couple months ago, but yeah, that's Andrew Luck.
So does that mean Andrew Luck's going to play in the XFL?
Oh, it's a possibility. If anything, he'll be a
Probably.
team owner, I think.
You think
Yeah,
so?
he'll be
Oh,
yeah, he's for sure going to be at least a GM.
Yeah.
At least.
He'll be like behind the scenes. He won't.
He's
going
going to, at the very least, run a team in his free time.
just because all he can do is football. Because Andrew Luck's just a football guy.
Mhm.
So we'll go ahead and talk about what happened this past week in college football. College football, big week this week.
We don't
We
need to
had-
talk about college football at all.
Yeah, well,
Just skip
Shane,
it.
We have to.
Shane and Toby's teams played each other,
Let's
and it
talk
was
about
not a very good game.
It was good for one team.
Well, I don't think if I was a spectator, I'd want to watch it. The only reason we watched all of it was because Toby's stubborn.
Yeah, me too. I watched the whole game. This is gonna be a bad season for us. We could realistically win one game this year against Bethune-Cookman or whatever their name is.
Yeah, is it the end of the season?
It's October 27th.
Is that on your bye
27th.
week?
Yeah, it was originally our bye week,
Okay,
and so it matched up with them.
I gotcha. Now, Toby, you have this from a different perspective here. What did you think of that game?
This was by far the best we've played all season. And it also happened to come against a...
Bad team.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it so that not all the Nebraska people can get mad at me. But
There's
yeah,
nothing to be mad about. I mean, you're calling a spade. We're a bad team. We play bad football, and we will for a little while now. So it'll get better in the future, but for now, we're a bad team.
yeah. And it doesn't help that the players that you have right now are pretty soft. Not as
Mhm.
athletic as a lot of the other top teams in the Big Ten. And they went up against probably the most athletic defensive line in the conference with
Yeah.
a hobbled freshman quarterback.
I'll agree with that. We had a lot of injuries on the offensive line, especially, and the quarterback, like you said, was hobbled, so we were down to kind of our last strings there. But we're also just a really young team. You can see that in the way we play. We make a lot of mistakes, and you can tell they're just not used to like the tempo of playing with a team like Michigan. Like they're not used to the speed of the game yet. So it's gonna get worse before it gets better. You know, what's it saying? It's always darkest before the dawn. It's gonna get pretty dark here.
Every
so
rose has its thorn.
strap in.
Nebraska only 3-point dogs this weekend. To
Home
Purdue.
dogs, though.
Home dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can beat Purdue. Like that.
It depends on what Purdue team shows up.
That's exactly
That's really
what
what
I
it
was
is.
going to say. It depends on the Purdue team that
If it's
shows up.
the Purdue of the last 2 weeks.
It'll be tough. But if it's the Purdue team that lost to Eastern Carolina or East Carolina, I think we can beat that team. Eastern Michigan. What did I say?
Eastern Michigan.
Carolina? Eastern Michigan.
East Carolina had some salty uniforms this week, though.
Yeah,
they had
they're
the
good.
one Carolina decals, whereas
I like
North
'em.
and South Carolina put together. That was pretty dope. T's and P's go out
yeah.
to everybody in the Carolinas. It's a rough situation there.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, before you get to your point, the NCAA wouldn't let Mizzou do their exhibition game with Kansas, or they do the rivalry for relief, because Mizzou and Kansas already had 2 exhibition games scheduled. So don't worry.
Isn't that basketball?
That's in basketball.
Yeah.
Oh.
The NCAA is looking out for all of us.
It was an event that raised over $2 million
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah, for all the hurricane relief.
Yeah.
Hurricane Harvey, I think it was.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Good job, NCAA. NCAA coming swooping in and
National
saving us all.
goodness against athletes.
It's saving us
Boz
all.
said it right.
What were you gonna say, Shane?
Oh, I was gonna make Toby's point again. Like it depends on what Purdue team shows up, and honestly, what Nebraska team shows up. If Martinez can get healthier, that will help us. If our line can get healthier, that will help us. Like if we can play like we did against Colorado, we have a shot because we actually played pretty well against Colorado despite some mental mistakes. But I'm not real excited about the rest of the season. To put it that way.
Coming from a guy whose team played Purdue, that Purdue offense is pretty explosive. And I know that
They
your
can be,
defense isn't
yeah.
very, como se dice, good. How do you say good in Spanish?
Bueno.
Bueno. No bueno. And it'll be interesting to see. It depends on what quarterback starts. I don't know if they fully committed to one quarterback over the other. But Purdue's just kind of an interesting team right now. We'll move on and we'll talk about the Missouri Tigers. KB and I's Tigers hung in with Georgia. I believe Toby and I said, what day
You
was
said
that?
3 scores would be a blowout, right?
Yeah, it was 2 scores. It was 14 points.
Yeah, I thought that's where you were going with that.
Spread was 15. Tigers covered. Toby said that he thought Oklahoma State was the only team that could hang within 2 scores of Georgia, and he was wrong. Mizzou just did it.
satirically.
Okay.
So sometimes you say things satirically. I don't know.
I
if
think
they're
he uses that as a
satirically.
backup.
Yeah,
And when it doesn't work out.
I think he
Yeah.
makes wild accusations all the time. So like when it doesn't work out, I can be like, "Well, I was just joking." Like,
Yeah.
Maybe.
fair.
Whatever helps you feel better about the L. Whether it's staying within 14.
he
or
always
whatever it is.
he brings that back.
Yeah, I don't know. But hey, that's fine. I don't think that Oklahoma State could stay within 14, and that's not satirical. I thought Mizzou played well. They had a couple of penalties and a couple of just miscues from Drew Lock. Not necessarily Drew Lock in general. They had one ball hit a receiver right in the hands, and it fell into the defender's hands for an interception. That's not very excusable. And another one was forward progress. Probably should have been stopped on Alberto, and Georgia ripped the ball away. And one thing I really noticed watching that Georgia game is how well Georgia does when they get to the ball of ripping the ball away. Like they have one guy wrap him up, and then all the other guys are just ripping at the ball. So I mean, the takeaways from this game is that I think Mizzou's better than people think that they are. The defense played really well. I know it's kind of crazy saying that they gave up 40 points, but I think Georgia had 17 points off turnovers, something like that. And Drew Luck threw 1 pick six. So I mean, it's something like that, and they had a blocked punt too that resulted in points. So, a lot of the things were self-inflicted wounds for Mizzou. I don't think they could have won if they played a perfect game. It would have been closer, but I don't think they could have won. We're coming up on this week here where we have South Carolina next week, and I think that's tricky because you're in South Carolina. What do you think about South Carolina next week, KB?
I'm not sure. South Carolina has, from what I remember, they've kind of been an iffy team this year too. They've played some good games, and then there have been a few where they've struggled a little bit. So I think it really depends. It really back to the point where Shane was talking, like it depends on what team shows up. If if the defense shows up that played against Georgia, we'll have a better chance of, and like the defense that played against Purdue. If that defense shows up,
Right.
it'll be a real difficult game. But if the defense against Georgia shows up, I think we'll have a better chance.
I agree with you. And if you look here, Georgia played South Carolina earlier this year in South Carolina, beat them 41-17, and that last game was against Mizzou. Georgia was 43-29. So we hung in with Georgia better than South Carolina, but that's not saying a whole lot. It really just depends. I know South Carolina didn't they have a game canceled because of the hurricane? So they've only played what, 2 games or three games? They've only played 3 games. So it'll be interesting to see. I know South Carolina was one of those teams that could be was everyone's sleeper coming in, especially like in the SEC East. Like they could have made some noise, but like everybody knows Georgia's going to win the SEC East. But they could have made some noise. But I mean, I think it'll be a competitive game. I do think Mizzou can pull it out. They just have to. Their defense has to play well.
The only thing that concerns you, I think, as a Mizzou fan, is sometimes they allow the big plays, which were Georgia's points on offense on Saturday, as well as Purdue throwing the football around last week. It's just getting beat by good receivers. South Carolina happens to have 2 of them and a pretty good quarterback. But this isn't a defense that's a world beater by any means. The South Carolina defense. So like, Drew Lock again struggles against good teams when he plays them, but South Carolina's not a defense that's going to shut down Drew Lock like a Georgia and Alabama defense will, or any of like the top tier SEC defenses would. So like, I think Mizzou should, in my opinion, I don't think they'll be favored because it's on the road, but I think Mizzou's a better team than South Carolina.
Yeah, that's not next week. That's like after our bye week. It's the 6th. So Mizzou's on their bye week this week.
It just makes me wonder, like, it was a couple of years ago. It might have been Drew Lock's freshman year, but Mizzou's defense was unreal. Like, they were super good.
Well, they've always been really good on the line.
Yeah, D-line, it's been good. But, like, that was the year, like, the offense didn't do anything. And then the next, and Barry Odom was the D coordinator then, wasn't he?
Right, yes.
So, like,
last year.
It's like it kind of, like, the D-line talent, I mean, it's still there. But, like, is it just him not calling? Or, like, what exactly has changed this drastic drop-off so fast?
Well, I think everyone's getting, like, kind of confused by this Purdue game. The Purdue game is I almost think it's an anomaly. I know that, like, our corners aren't that great and our safeties aren't great. But to add to it, we had our best corner get hurt at the very first play of the game. And then we had our best safety who was suspended for the first half because of targeting. So the Purdue game looks bad because of just those 2 issues. He didn't come back. Like, DeMarcus Stacey didn't come back the whole game. And, I mean, he played last week. But I'm not sure. I think Odom still does, like, most of the defense. But, I mean, there is a defensive coordinator now. So, I mean, I think he helps with the defense a little bit. Anything else on college football?
No, I think I'm good.
Stanford's pretty good.
Stanford did beat Oregon. That's kind of I thought it was going to be an upset if Oregon beat them. In my head, I don't know if that was like by the numbers. If it was
a lot of,
I mean, technically, Stanford was 8 in the country. Oregon was 22. So technically, like,
yeah,
that's Stanford should have won that game, and they did. But like, it shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have won it the way they did. You know.
Yeah.
I know Eugene's a tough place to play. I saw an aerial view of what's their stadium called, Autzen, and it's not like a lot of like college stadiums. Like they build up. Autzen is built like out, like it. So it looks short, but it's like real wide. So like, and because like in the Swamp and Memorial Stadium, any of the Memorial Stadiums, pick one. Like they all are like really tall and like maybe have some shade, but like Autzen, it looks like there's just like one platform that starts like right at field level and then just like goes up until
gradual.
It becomes the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
So like it's just weird. I just
That's
noticed that.
interesting.
I thought it was
Looking at it
interesting.
now, it is really weird. It looks like a bowl. Like, yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, Oregon got the dub there.
Stanford.
Or Stanford got the dub there. Yeah, that was a good game. Went into overtime. You always like games that go into overtime. We didn't have a tie in the NFL this week.
We did not.
Yeah, first week since last season that there was no tie.
Really? That's a good stat. I like that stat.
I like that stat.
Yeah. So no ties. Shane, do you want to talk about the Cowboys or
Not really. I mean, we suck also.
Yeah.
I know, but
The Cowboys did not win.
Cowboys
yeah, we
didn't
lost
win.
to the Seahawks. I don't know. I don't know if it was. We lost to a bad team. I don't know if that's like a moral victory or not. This is gonna be a long season for me. I'm gonna have bad weekends for a while, I think, because the Cowboys aren't very accurate. We don't have any good receivers really at all. Zeke is now nowhere near where he was 2 years ago. I'm just depressed, to say the least. So maybe keep an eye on me for the next few weeks. Yep. It's rough.
Tobes is kind of in the same boat as you too. Not really like college.
Not really, or professionally,
But
because
he
he's reached
kinda-
the Patriots.
he kinda got-
so they'll probably be in the Super Bowl anyways.
He kind of got in the sad mood yesterday.
We sucked. Yeah, yesterday we sucked.
In the game, yeah. But like
Yeah.
you can't say like the team's bad. Like I mean, you're gonna get Julian Edelman back in 2 games, so then you'll finally have a wide receiver.
Yeah, I guess it's just frustrating seeing like the Patriots' MO right now is just to not cover anybody until they're 10 yards downfield. It's like they're playing not to get beat deep. They're playing not to get embarrassed. That they're going to allow teams to nickel and dime them up and down the field, which limits how often Brady and the offense get the ball.
Yeah, 'cause
When
they don't
they
have a
get
lot
the
of time of
ball-
possession.
Right. When they get the ball, we have 3 receivers currently. Because Edelman, he won't even be back for this next game. Hopefully Josh Gordon's ready to go. But we will have 3. We had 3 healthy receivers yesterday, which doesn't help. Those receivers aren't good at beating defensive backs in man coverage.
Yeah, and you're trying to give away your best receiving threat right now in Rob Gronkowski.
And the fact that the Patriots only had 3 healthy receivers yesterday, and none of them are like big threats. We were able to watch the Lions just put as many guys as they wanted to on Rob Gronkowski, and like that's really what I feel like hindered your offense is that they could put all the guys that they wanted to on Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Did you look into it all? Why they wanted to trade Gronk?
I didn't look into it. I saw Gronkowski's comments about.
He said he'd just retire.
Yeah, he said Brady's his quarterback and he's not going to play without Tom Brady. Which,
I mean, you gotta kind of like that.
yeah, I do love it as a Patriots fan. So I know Gronk's not going anywhere. But I mean, yeah, yesterday was just frustrating. That's also a game against a defensive coordinator who understands. This is something else I didn't take into account. I was going to take into account like schemes and stuff, and I was like, okay, Belichick probably knows what Patricia does scheme-wise, but Patricia knows the personnel of the Patriots a lot more than Belichick would know the personnel on the Lions, since they only play them once every 4 years. But Patricia's been with the Patriots for the past 6. So that's, yeah. It was pretty much just a real big shit show for New England. But like I said, hopefully they get it turned around. They're a team that usually does, so.
Yeah.
Is this the first time that someone from Belichick's coaching tree has ever beat him?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
it does.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And I saw that Al Groh or whatever. Josh McDaniels beat him, and I saw that Al Groh or whatever was 2-0 against him as coach of the Jets. So,
I just feel like he never loses to someone in his coaching tree.
well, if you look at it,
That's Nick Saban.
I kind of picture them as a
Bill
same person.
Belichick like
It's fair.
really doesn't lose. Like they the whole week before that game they were flashing it, and he had only lost like 4 times against people who were
In his
under him at
family.
one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he doesn't really lose, but like the guys like he's 5-0 against Bill O'Brien
Yeah.
for the Texans. So like Like, yeah, he doesn't lose a whole lot to those people, but recency bias, I guess.
True.
KB, you just want to talk about Colts?
Yeah, it's kind of tough because the Colts are 1-2 now, and in the 2 games that they've lost, they've been driving down the field with like 3 to 1 minutes left to play with a chance to win. Like they score a touchdown, they win.
Yeah.
And they just haven't. So like it's weird because everyone was talking about how bad the defense was at the beginning of the season. They were, if you pay attention to fantasy football, they were ranked literally the last in the entire league behind players that won't even see playing time. But like the defense has been the strong part of this team so far. The play call has been conservative, and Andrew Luck has been throwing conservative passes, hasn't been taking many deep shots. And it's really been Darius Leonard and the defense that have been given the Colts these opportunities to win. They didn't allow a touchdown against the Redskins, only allowed 2 touchdowns against the Eagles. So, and a healthy Carson Wentz. So, I mean, it's just tough to think about, you know?
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's just not the Colts that, like, you remember.
Yeah,
You know,
the Colts that I remember, I mean, in my long fanship,
Yeah.
would win in shootouts like 35-21 or something like that. But
Well, the Chiefs are the exact opposite.
Yeah, the Chiefs have, like, the most electric offense in the NFL right now.
Yeah, and they actually like to play this defense where they don't cover anybody. And it's not my favorite defense in the world. I've talked about it a few times of how the Chiefs will just go and get a good sized lead, 28 point lead, you know. And then their defense will just give it up really just over the course of a couple quarters, they'll give it up. And the Chiefs will have to like put more points on the board. And it's actually a really stressful way to play football.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm
It's
not
a roller coaster of a game
yeah.
to watch.
So like pretty much like the Chiefs and the Missouri Tigers are the same football team.
What basically happened was the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes. I said, how did you play football in college? And he said, we put up 50 points a game and did not play any defense.
Threw the ball.
Perfect. That's what we're going to do.
Threw the ball around 90 times a game.
Yeah, what was that one? Him against
88,
Baker Mayfield?
53. He's
53 for 88. What an absurd number to throw in one game. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. He accounted for 7 touchdowns. He had 2 rushing touchdowns.
That's wild.
And I think that obviously he's the most electric quarterback right now.
Oh, by far.
And I heard some people talking, and they said even if he like tones it, like even if he comes back down to earth, he's still gonna be the most electric player.
He has 13 touchdown passes in the first 3 games.
That's pretty good.
That's absurd. To 9 different receivers.
That's a good fantasy draft pick by me, by the way. People forget that
I laughed at you when you picked it, and
people
take it back
I
now.
did that. People forget it.
I just thought you were a huge Mahomo.
I'm a homie.
Also important, though, based on the history of the Chiefs, is not after 3 games going, all right, this is a team that can't be stopped. Because at this point last year,
they were the best team in offense.
Alex Smith was also the NFL MVP. So
yep.
I think for the Chiefs, who are a team that hit really high peaks and also hit really low valleys, it's kind of like, you know, we've seen the story before. I think the thing that makes it different this year is
the offensive weapons.
The offensive weapons. I think Sammy Watkins completely changed the offense because now, you know, you had Kareem last year. Obviously, Tyreek's always been dynamic, and Travis Kelce's one of the top tight ends in the game. But there's just too much on the field now.
You can't cover everyone.
No, you can't cover everybody.
We were talking about that earlier. Sammy Watkins is most teams' first choice, and he's Kansas City's 4th.
He's literally their 4th option behind like Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
he would have had at least 13 targets yesterday in the Patriots game.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, I think that's just insane. I think we saw in the first week that Sammy Watkins really didn't do anything against the Chargers.
No,
and then like it's like week 2, he had a pretty good game, and it was like Andy's like, "Oh shit,
that's Sammy Watkins.
We have Sammy Watkins now." No, and they're like, "No, Andy, like we've had him the whole time." And he's like, "No, really, we've had Sammy Watkins."
It gets to the point where like, how is it possible to have all of these offensive threats? And, like, how are other teams not doing this? You know what I mean? Like, what's in Kansas City that's getting this done?
Well, Kansas City and football have always had a very odd way of getting big names in football.
Andy Reid to coach there, I remember it was kind of a big deal to come from Philadelphia to Kansas City, where everyone, and I was when Kansas City was bad. Kansas City used to be way bad.
We got Andy Reid after Romeo Crennel.
Yep.
then Romeo Crennel was Todd Haley's fill-in, I think.
Yeah.
And the first coach I remember for the Chiefs was Dick Vermeil. Like Dick Vermeil is like a legendary coach.
It's a good football name.
Yeah, say good football name.
Yeah,
great football name.
He's a great football guy.
Good football name.
Yeah.
Yeah. KB, did you have I like that stat?
I did have an I like that stat. Let me pull it up real fast.
Right, let's pull it up.
Just put him on the spot.
We have it up.
KB, you have a like that stat, right?
One thing, since football started, we like football. That's obvious because we're just a bunch of football guys that sit around and talk about football.
Just a bunch of alphas.
But we haven't talked about baseball in a while, and I love baseball. And so I like that stat.
True.
Is a little stat coming from my choice for my number 31 next week, Greg Maddux. But Greg Maddux faced 20,421 batters during his career. Only 310 of them saw a 3-0 count, and 177 of those were intentional walks.
That's such an insane statistic. I remember you sent that to us, and I had to read it a couple of times. I was like, "There's no way that's what I'm reading."
I like that stat.
I like that stat. I didn't like Greg Maddux a whole lot when he was playing, but
that's just so dominant.
I've come to respect him.
Listen, I saw another stat that said a pitcher could win 20 games for the next 25 years and still not have as many wins as Cy Young does.
That's also insane.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah. That's like the stat with Gretzky in hockey. When you say you could take away all of Wayne Gretzky's goals for his entire career, he would still be the points leader.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Ridiculous.
Like, you can't name more dominant athlete than that. Like, that, it's unreal.
I'd say Wayne Gretzky's the most dominant player to sport.
I agree with you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we talk about all the different, GOATs across all the sports.
Yeah.
Like, people say...
There is zero
people
debate
say
in hockey.
Brady's the GOAT in
Michael Phelps
football, and people be like,
dominant.
okay, yeah, this guy's the GOAT in baseball. But, football and baseball, there's, different... football, there's so many different positions that it's hard to compare the stats.
Right.
Baseball, it's hard to compare between hitters and pitchers. But in hockey, it's just this guy is the best. There's no.
Everyone's just like, yeah, no,
right,
it's pretty easy.
There's different. There's different positions in hockey, but they really. It's pretty all equal because it's just all you're doing the same thing. Defensemen score goals, forwards score goals. Everybody scores goals except the goalies.
Hey, sometimes the goalies score.
Sometimes goalies. Martin Brodeur, number 30.
Martin Brodeur, the highest scoring goalie of all time.
That's very true. 4 goals. That's impressive.
I just made that up. I don't know if that was true or not.
No,
thanks for backing me up, though.
Yeah, that's true. No, you were right.
My boy.
He is a number 32.
My boy.
30 as well, not 32.
Yeah, no, I should have picked him. Damn it.
Yeah,
my mind's on football now. I can't think of any other sport.
Right. Hey, hockey starts Wednesday, right? Next Wednesday?
Well, preseason starts now, and the Devils keep losing. It's pissing me off.
Well, preseason hockey doesn't really matter.
I know.
Preseason football doesn't matter.
God damn it, I love hockey.
Is it next? Is it this Wednesday or next Wednesday?
I think it's
October
next
3rd. I think it's October 3rd.
Oh, that's next Wednesday.
Yeah, it's next Wednesday. I'll Google it real quick. Anybody else have a stat that they like?
This is a stat that I really don't like. Nebraska's now 0-3, and that's the worst start we've had since 1945.
Yeah, that's not a good stat if you like the Cornhuskers.
I have a stat that I liked after the game. Scott Frost now has more losses as a head coach of Nebraska than he did as a player his entire career there.
That's actually a wild stat.
And
because
9 times less
the teams he was on there were incredible.
They were really, really good.
They had some great players.
Yeah, okay, I was right. October 3rd is the first day where you have the Canadians playing the Maple Leafs, the Bruins and Capitals. That one's on NBC. And then you have Ducks and Shacks.
That's also the Mean Girls Day.
Hockey.
It is?
Yeah. It's Mean Girls Day because remember she's like, hey, what day is it? And he's like, it's October 3rd. And she's like, oh, yeah, but she already knew the date. Yeah. Mean Girls Day. It's also the day before Sierra's birthday. Shout out Sierra.
Shout out Sierra.
Speaking of Sierra.
I thought... Oh, no, I already shared my stat I liked about Cy Young.
Yeah.
Any wild moves? Anybody doing anything wild? Oh, I'll tell you what a wild move is.
I'll tell you.
The Flyers announcing that new
mascot.
that was
going to be mine.
That was going to be mine also.
That was also going to be my final thought.
We should coordinate this better.
We should have made a doc.
We need to.
Oh well.
All right.
Continue.
Whatever.
Well, the
Adapt.
Flyers came out with this mascot called Gritty, and he is nightmare fuel.
Survive in advance.
He looks like
He looks like a monster.
a Muppet on drugs.
Yeah, like that new Muppet movie that's coming out, Happy Time Murders. It's like
Yeah.
rated R. He
Yeah.
belongs in that show.
Yeah, for sure.
I could see him being like a pedophile or something.
His name is Gritty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a very. They could have thought of a better.
They could have thought of a
name.
better name for that. Also, he just looks terrifying.
He looks pretty gritty.
Gritty
I have a
doesn't
wild
necessarily
move.
mean
We kind of
ugly
hinted
as
this.
hell.
We kind of hinted this earlier, but the Patriots trying to trade Rob Gronkowski to the Detroit Lions. That is a wild move.
pretty
First
wild.
off, like Toby said, they only have 3 receivers right now that are healthy. So trying to trade away your best receiving threat while you have no one else is not super smart, in my opinion. Also, who are you going to get that's better than Rob Gronkowski right now? You have to get trade picks
We
or
wouldn't have
trades
gotten
or
anybody.
draft picks. Goddamn.
Yeah, they were looking for him in the off season.
They were.
Yeah, they were thinking of making a trade for Gronk in the off season, but I'm really glad it didn't happen.
I really would have messed up your season.
Yeah, I don't even know who Brady would have thrown to yesterday.
Probably to throw to himself.
Yep.
We can't do it though.
Well,
Yeah, just
if
only
it
Marcus
bounces
Mariota
off
can.
a defensive lineman's head, you can catch it. That's
I
how
know,
Brett
but-
Favre got his
Yeah.
first completion.
But
Marcus
then
Mariota.
Tom Brady would have to run, and I don't want that.
Yeah, and that's slow as
And
shit.
Tom Brady doesn't want that.
No one wants that.
Yeah, we saw Jimmy Guap go down with that
ACL.
ferocious injury, and like we don't want that for any of our quarterbacks. My quarterback's been injured enough.
Oh God, please don't have. Oh, if Pat Mahomes, it
Dude,
gets
yeah,
you,
knock
I
on
will
wood.
cry.
Don't talk it into existence. Yeah.
I will cry.
Oh, you're gonna be so mad when this happens.
Shenanigans. Now you have to cry if you get
No, I will
Oh.
legitimately cry.
No, and I
If
have to
that
cry.
happens, I will cry.
What? No faith in Chad Henne?
No.
Anything is possible.
I saw something that at the beginning of the season was like, what are the backups like if Mahomes gets hurt? And this guy said, well,
Chad
think
Henne,
of it
baby.
this way. Mahomes is like the 2015 Royals, and our backups are like the Royals now.
Yeah,
So
basically.
that does not give me very much hope or promise. So Pat Mahomes just
That's how
can't
you
get
guys have such an electric offense. You have no depth.
Yeah,
you have a fantastic starters and then shit.
trade away our depth.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Any final thoughts?
Yep. I got my final thought.
Oh,
One second, let me
wait,
pull
I have
the
one
fire.
wild move.
Toby, go
Okay.
first.
Oh,
I'll go
do
my
wild
final
move.
thought.
How about Vontae Davis quitting before the Bills?
Oh
got
yeah,
good?
we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, the Bills just got good, and Vontae Davis left early.
Mm,
He only wanted to be on the team for the bad times.
I saw this tweet and
bad times at Ridgemont High.
I know this probably didn't happen, but the concept of the tweet was so funny. It was like, imagine if you're living in Buffalo, like driving home from work or something, or listening to the game. It's at halftime, and you see Vontae Davis driving past you, going the other direction. Like that's totally possible. He drove home at halftime.
That's pretty wild.
It just begs the question. I know it's not right, but we just have to go there. Is Vontae Davis the reason for the Bills' early season struggles? Was it all on him?
There's locker room.
Apparently, because they did really well
Was
yesterday.
the lack of or the inability to score points or stop anybody else from scoring points?
I think
was that his fault?
it's the typical you blame it on the guy that's not there right now, and Vontae Davis is not there right now, so blame it on him.
Well,
And blame it on the juice.
yeah, it's like
Juice. I said juice.
it's
Okay.
like they all used to say. You can take the player off the Colts, but you can't take the Colts out of the player. And Vontae Davis just dragged that Bills defense back into the cesspool that they were in before Marone showed up.
Toby's just bitter that his team is bad like the rest of our teams.
Welcome to my world. It's been 21 years of this shit.
Toby's had all the success in the world, and now that his team is struggling, it's like he's never.
Toby's
To-
new name
Toby
is
likes
Icarus.
to-
He
Toby
flew too
likes to
close to
make-
the sun.
Toby likes to make us think that he struggled, going to that poor ass school, Rockhurst, and then when he gets a taste of struggle, he's like, "Oh man, I don't like this at all."
Yeah, but not all of our teams
But
suck.
I'm the defensive one.
I'm a Chiefs fan. We're 3-0.
Well, you always say, whenever you get defensive, you're like, "Well, you came at me. We just get a little defensive too when you come at us."
Final thoughts?
Yep.
Okay.
So my final thought, this is another bad day for America. But September 25th, 1844,
Mm-hmm.
Canada defeats USA by 23 runs in the first Cricket International.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah, scared you for a bit when I said it runs. I don't understand how cricket works, so I'm assuming that's just like 1,000 points.
Cricket
But-
is a tough sport. You know, usually I can sit down, I can watch a sport on ESPN, and I can get it, you know? Like, get a gist of the rules. Watch cricket once. No clue.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense, and I feel like just one of those typical ignorant Americans. I don't even want to try to learn how it's played. I'd just rather not pay attention to it. But here's another one I just found while I was looking at this. September 25th, 1882, the first baseball doubleheader was played.
They didn't think you could play 2 games in one
No.
day since.
And they did that, and they're like, oh, shit, we can get way more games than now. Let's play 162.
They need to start doing that with more sports. Football doubleheader.
Yeah, people would die.
Yeah, there would be CTE.
People are
out
dying
there.
Hockey
anyway,
doubleheaders.
Shane.
People would die.
People are dying anyway. We're just speeding up the process.
That's
32
true.
There's
game
too many
seasons
people on this
played in
earth.
the same amount of time.
Expediting it. Played in the same amount of time?
32 game seasons, same amount of time.
You'd have like one doubleheader a week.
Yeah,
you'd have
that's
to.
right.
Thanks, man.
Travel would be a bitch.
Or, you know, we're hell-bent on playing Thursday night football games. Every team has a Thursday night game. Every team also has a Sunday day game. So,
Oh boy.
Thursday and then Sunday. You get Friday, Saturday to,
Yeah.
to prepare for the next
You
team.
have- you have Monday to rest. Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, play Thursday. Friday, Saturday, play Sunday. Rest on Monday.
Oh, you're probably in the hospital on Monday.
But you're resting.
Kieran, yeah. I'm interested to see if Kieran has an interesting final thought.
No, I'm kind of
Fuck.
out of it this week.
That's my favorite part of this is Kieran's final thoughts.
It's all right. We'll have one on Friday. I'm sure Kieran will think of one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just like, I'm just out here, just thinking.
What are you thinking, Tobes? What are your final thoughts?
Since the regular season of baseball is coming to a close, I'd have to give a shout out to the man who should be the American League Cy Young, Blake Snell. Was actually snubbed super hardcore for the All-Star game. And then he got in as an alternate. But, I mean, that was ridiculous that he wasn't one of the first pitchers named to the American League roster. Now he has the best ERA in the American League, better than Chris Sale. He has a better record overall than Chris Sale, which is crazy because Chris Sale plays on the best team in all of baseball, the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
So, Blake Snell, American League Cy Young,
Is his record better than Jacob deGrom's?
yes, which is a damn shame for DeGrom.
He
But-
should win the NL Cy Young,
I'd say so.
which is wild. He should just. That guy proves that it does not. The win-loss statistic in baseball does not matter.
Not at all.
No,
How
I
good
mean,
you are.
I will say though, if you get 20 wins, that means your team's winning when you're on the mound, which is like Kluber just got to 20 today, and
There's
the
a lot
Indians,
of stipulations for a win.
right? Well, like
I think you have to have more runs.
Okay.
you have to pitch at least 5 innings. You have to, yeah, if you start the game, yeah.
So I mean,
But
There's
I
just
don't
so
know,
many
'cause, like,
stats in baseball. It's hard to
yeah.
keep track.
if you go
There's
out
a
if you
lot.
go out and get 20 wins in a season, you probably did something right. You know, I
Yeah.
doubt any pitcher won 20 with an ERA of like over 4 or
What's
5.
what's the rotation? Like if you pitched on, let's say Sunday, when's the next day you would pitch?
it'd be it's a 5-day rotation.
It's
or
a
it
5-day
It really
rotation,
depends on how many
typically.
people are in. Like it's
Just
usually
like
a 5 day.
typically.
There's a lot of factors, but it's a 5-man rotation. It depends on how many games you
Yeah.
have that week. It depends on
How
what time of
many
the
times
season
you
it is,
pitched.
because a lot of guys will throw in like a 6th man, you know,
Yeah.
the spot start here and there. But you start on
God.
Sunday, you'll probably start Friday,
It would
Saturday.
be so hard to manage a baseball team. I couldn't
National
do
League,
it.
National League is harder than it is American League.
I just don't think I
the
could do
American
it.
League is almost
It's too
sit
much
and forget
math.
it. There's a lot of stuff. You
A
gotta
lot
think
of
about. I don't know if I have a final thought either. We got a foosball table.
Yeah, put in our foosball table.
At our
We're hosting
studio.
a Nosebleed Knowledge foosball tournament, so anyone who listens, come to our house whenever, and we'll play.
Yep. You can play Shane because Shane already beat me
Yeah, Tucker sucks.
10-3, and it wasn't close. I'm really bad at foosball. I don't know why. That's not like a talented sport. Like you have to have God-given talent. to
because
play
I'm crazy
foosball.
athletic.
Good wrist.
Crazy good wrist.
Concussions. My reaction time is.
I actually do have a good final thought. Just thinking about how good pizza is.
Yeah.
Aren't you guys thinking about how good pizza is?
Yeah, Sierra
I
was
think
just
about-
talking about how good pizza was, and she wanted to come say something.
We have an audience today, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Well,
normally
this is a
have a
live
little bit
studio
of an
audience.
audience.
Do you guys
but
want to come say hi real
We have
quick?
an audience.
But Sierra did say how much she loves Paisan's Pizza, located on 156th and Center in Omaha, Nebraska. Paisan's Pizza. Come on in.
We struggle with this every week.
We're not great
We
marketers.
forget to come up with a slogan, and we try to come up with one on the spot. It's like that Michael Scott quote of sometimes I start a sentence. and hope I find
That's
my way
exactly
there.
what it is.
It's just like, Paisans, when you're hungry,
I got one.
we got
Go
some
for it.
food or something like that.
Paison's Pizzeria, where pizza's our priority.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Now say it backwards. Priority,
Priority is.
our-
No.
Priority hour is.
is pizza. Pizzeria.
No, you fucked it up already, I think.
Paisons.
No. Paisan's Pizza, where dreams come, they come true.
Get
Ooh,
yourself
that's a good one.
get yourself
from
a
Parks and
nice,
Rec.
a nice pizza pie at the Paisans when the moon hits your eye
When
like
the
a
moon
big
hits your
Paisan
eye like
pie.
a big
Like a big
Paisan's
Paisan.
pie, that's amore.
I'll do some editing and I'll make that song and I'll send it.
That'll
to
be our
Verse.
outro song.
I'll send it to Verse.
Yeah,
Say, hey,
he'll love
play
it.
this on
On loop.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go.
Guys, we should start a band where I think Shane and I have talked about this before.
Oh, yeah, we have. I know
Where
exactly what
we-
you're talking about.
This is also a good final thought for myself. Good job, Kieran. Where we start a band where we just sing the covers of like famous songs because we already know people will like them. They're famous.
Yeah.
But we sing covers of that song as the actual song is playing behind us. So we don't have to play any music. We just sing the song. Like karaoke, but we make a whole lot of money off of
But
it.
the thing is, Kieran can now play the recorder. He's a recorder
That is
master.
true.
So we're going
I
to sing
have-
the shit out of some hot cross buns coming up.
Yeah. Hot
next
cross
time
buns,
on the show.
Hot cross buns, 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns.
Look at
I'll
that.
be
Now we
honest
just need
with
the
you.
recorder
I'll be honest with you.
background.
I didn't know the lyrics to Hot Cross Buns.
I
Really?
saw that in your eyes.
I didn't know those
In your eyes, like, oh, all right.
lyrics. Yeah, I guess I don't. I don't know
learn-
how
I'm
much
gonna
I
learn-
was.
Final thought. We're starting a band, basically a karaoke band. DM us ideas for band names.
I'm gonna learn how to play "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion, the pride of France. Besides surrendering, and it'll be great.
She's French Canadian.
She's French Canadian. French is from France.
Yeah,
Zach.
I don't know if you know that, Zach, but
Zach.
France is from France.
History guy over here doesn't know French is from
Idiot.
France.
I think that'll do it for this week's episode. Follow us on Twitter at Nosebleeds Know. Like us on Facebook. Nosebleed Knowledge. We'll catch you guys on Friday. Peace.